Attack on Titan's ending is by far one of the most important anime events to happen these years. Nothing else about the series has been as divisive as the ending itself. Half the fandom loves it, half hate it. But now that enough time has passed, how about we take another look at the finale? I'm gonna talk about the 10 saddest Attack on Titan ending facts that'll make you cry. Do you know what Mikasa wrote on Eren's grave? It said, and I quote, "Here forever rest peacefully, my most beloved, my dear." 854. The number 854 is the year when Eren died, but this is where it gets sad. When Mikasa visits Eren's grave, she leaves 4 white roses. This actually has a symbolic message to it, as there are different meanings to the number of roses given to someone. It means that nothing can ever do us apart. It's Mikasa's way of saying nothing shall ever come between two people who love each other but can't be together. Putting it simply, it symbolizes tragic love. Her love for Eren remained the constant in her life till the day she passed, perhaps even after. This connects with the next fact on our list. You may remember that Niccolo placed a bouquet of white roses on Sasha's grave. How many to be exact? 24. It means, I will always keep you in my heart. That was a promise to her, and he delivered. This is evident by how Niccolo was seen with Blau's family even years after Eren's death. His love for Sasha was everlasting, but he never got to tell her. Now the same is true for Mikasa. Yes, contrary to the memes and the shippers, Mikasa doesn't marry Jean, or anyone else for that matter. When she dies, we can see that a white rose was placed on her. She was also still wearing the scarf Eren gave her, even though Eren had told her to throw it away. That's right, just like the durability of this freaking scarf that lasted through wars and the rumbling, Mikasa's love for Eren remained unchanging. And another hidden detail that not many fans noticed is how Mikasa was still covering her clan's mark. She had promised her mom that she would pass it down to her children, and until then, she'd cover it up. However, the fact that she was still covering it even after she died can only mean one thing. Mikasa never passed it down. She never married and always continued to remember Eren, her one and only. And did you know that even a severed head is still conscious for 15 seconds? That's right. When Mikasa kissed Eren's head at the end, he was still conscious. He felt it. As tragic as everything was, they were able to share one pure romantic moment after all. You also gotta love the brilliance of the scene. Mikasa kissing Eren's severed head. The scene is like a poem of their relationship. This is relevant to the next fact. Eren had his eyes closed during the rumbling. They were closed until he opened them at the last moment to catch a glimpse of Mikasa. He knew what was gonna happen. He knew what he was gonna do. And that's why he kept his eyes closed throughout the entirety of the rumbling and only opened them to see her one last time. He wanted the last thing he ever saw to be Mikasa. And if this wasn't enough to make you cry, let's talk about how when Eren and Mikasa were in an alternate reality created by the paths, they lived together for 4 years. This detail is beautiful because at that point, Eren had already had his Titan for 9 years, which meant that even if the rumbling didn't happen, he only had 4 years left. Well, he spent those 4 years with Mikasa in the paths, and it was only after he died because of the 13-year rule that Mikasa also killed him in the real world. It's rumored that this was actually a gift to Eren and Mikasa from Ymir. She wanted them to have some semblance of a normal romance. What do you think? Next up, we have something that does break your heart, but in a much more subtle manner. It's about the last time we see Reiner and his mother talking to each other. He tells her that he no longer has the power of the armored Titan, and although he himself is a bit down and devastated, mostly because he didn't want to survive this incident. And as for his mother, she sheds tears as she embraces him. This catches him off guard because it may very well be the first time she saw him as her son. Just like how Grisha raised Zeke to be a weapon, Reiner's relationship with his mother was the same. She groomed him to be a weapon. For the most part, he was nothing but a tool that can make her feel important. Guys, there's a reason why Reiner, more than anyone else in the story, has always struggled with the idea of moving forward. In that scene where his mother finally embraces him as her son, he has a rather stiff posture. He grits his teeth, and his eyes swell with tears. The saddest thing about this scene is not that Reiner is finally able to have a proper moment with his mother. It's about how it wasn't until the need for a Titan was gone that his mother finally saw him as her own son. Just a few months ago, she was completely fine with his death. In fact, she was happy that his Titan would be inherited by his cousin Gabby. But now that there's no more need for Titans, she finally cares? Give Reiner a break. Moving on, we have perhaps the most silence-inducing moment in the entire story. When all is said and done, the final battle is over, and everyone is rejoicing with their friends or loved ones, Levi is there sitting by himself, resting against a rock. There is no one there for him to reunite with. All of his OG comrades are dead. He's the only adult left from the original Survey Corps. And then, because Isayama likes to torture his fans, Levi sees a vision of his fallen comrades. It's as though they were watching him all this time. When he asked them if they were able to see the results of their efforts, all of them salute him in response, and then Levi returns the salute with a smile on his face. Yeah, you bet I replayed this scene a couple of times. Coincidentally, Armin also has a similar moment. It's in the ending credits. Decades into the future, Armin visits the same old tree. He's here to visit Eren and Mikasa's graves, who are buried next to each other. Although this scene represents the undying friendship the three of them always had, it also parallels just like how the three of them ran towards the tree as kids. Old man Armin was the last one to reach the tree again, this time with Eren and Mikasa long gone. Next, let's talk about the extraordinary ways the anime enhances the impact of the ending. In the scene where Eren tells Armin that 80% of humanity is going to die, they're in a sea of blood. Do know that it wasn't like this in the manga. Yes, there were footprints from the hundreds of thousands of colossal titans, but there were no blood. The anime also added many anime-only scenes to further show the destruction, chaos, and bloodshed caused by the rumbling. The conversation between Eren and Armin is also a bit different. As they're both in the sea of blood, Eren tells Armin that he's been an idiot. Armin thanks him, not for the mass murder, not for the rumbling, but for showing him what exists beyond the walls. Armin is choosing to share Eren's burden and his sins, even though all he's ever done is supported whatever crazy decisions Eren decided to make. He says that they will see each other in hell. Despite everything, Armin is there for Eren, no matter what. Mikasa and Eren's love gets talked about a lot, but Armin and Eren's bond? That goes way deep. Fate has been cruel to Eren, but it did at least bless him with Armin, his true brother. Finally, we have the last scene of Attack on Titan. A long time has passed since the rumbling. Technology evolved and wars continue to be fought. However, the tree is still there. It's still standing, almost as if it's the only constant in this cycle of war and destruction. We then see a battered up and visibly hungry boy discover a hole at the base of the tree together with his dog. This is the exact point where Eren's grave used to be, and of course, it's gonna give the boy the power of the Titans. The sad and surreal thing about this scene is how precisely it represents the tragic nature of humanity. Even after everyone and everything you know is gone, humans will still be fighting, just drowning each other in tears till the end of time. History sadly does repeat itself. What did you guys think of the finale?